He took my head off, spun it around, put it back on a whole new way, and I've never stopped or slept since.
Hey, Chris Brisson here, CEO and co-founder of Call Loop, and I'm here in Phoenix, and I just heard Jay give some. In fact, real has been something I've been wanting to do, and I really kind of pulled the trigger on it. Focus on business, everything else, and I learned actually a lot about how to choose deals, how to choose property, and these are things that I knew nothing about. And in many respects, I was kind of fearful on how to choose a property, how to value a property, what's a good deal to go after. They kind of really laid it out in acronyms and very step-by-step process. So he was awesome, and he just kept going around. So it was awesome. And, thanks, Jay, for everything you shared today in the event. So thanks a lot.
Love this idea that the deal is actually the least important part of that. Figuring out the other three first that matters most, and that influence how I go look at real estate.
I'm Japan Trivedi. I'm from Sacramento, California. I am a fix and flip investor. I came here to see Jay Massey, because I've heard a lot about him. His experience, I highly recommend anybody that is either starting out. Come down, you will not disappoint. He is amazing. He has not really left anything. He has answered every question, philosophical, logical, and financial. And that's a very rare combination. So I highly recommend it.
Crap. Just one. Okay, hold on. Test one. Okay, do I sound choppy when you hear me is the question I'm asking right now. You heard me say crap. Oh, God. It's that kind of day. I tried hard over here. Okay, so you can hear me right now, completely okay is what I'm understanding. Is that correct? Okay, I think I know where the issue is. And before, when the music was playing a second ago, you had no issue with that, right? Hey, Leo. Okay, all right. And I'm making sure that you can hear me right now because I just did a change to the audio setup. So 1, 2, 3, you can hear me clearly. Yes? If you can hear me, clap your hands. No? Not coming through? Yes. Okay. You guys are being good sports today. Thank you. All right. I know exactly how to make it work now because it was really crazy. Thank you for your patience. This has been frustrating, but the cameras are in the right spot. Everything's going. I'm not in the right spot. I need you to give me a minute. I'm gonna get myself together now so I can get you guys this information, because right now I feel like I need to be drinking some alcohol this early in the morning, and I don't even drink. So I gotta play. It's not the right video, but I gotta play it so that something's happening, and I'll be right back. It's the same video that you heard earlier where the music was going, because yeah, I know how to get that right now. So here we go. I'll be right back.
Jay Massey is a full-time real estate investor. He's an entrepreneur.
He also teaches people how to find deals, raise capital for real estate investments.
Meeting Jay Massey in person, you'd think he's just a regular guy. He's got jeans and a t-shirt on and a pair of sneakers. But he's built up a multi-million-dollar empire.
I hope you do have an empty notebook because it's going home filled.
Jay gives back so much value that I've never seen.
Now, at this moment, when I'm looking at the kitchen, things are going through my head.
You want to be friends with him, and he treats you like you're the only person in the room, even though it's for the benefit of everybody.
This is how, when you ask yourself, how does Jay do it? This is how.
He tells people that they have to take action, and they have to take action now. I took the action, and the results have paid off.
What happens when the marketplace understands who we are and how we go out there? Okay, so if everything is working like it's supposed to at this moment, you should be able to see my board and you should be able to hear my voice. If you can see the board and hear my voice, clap twice. That's all I need to know. Okay, and then we will have successfully made this happen. Yes, there we go. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. So, how's your morning going? Hopefully it's going rather well. So, for those of you, if I've not met you before, hi, I'm Jay. And what it comes down to is I like to teach things. I like to teach a lot of stuff, and I like to do so in a way that is helpful for people. But I also like to help people move themselves forward. So you probably, I'm actually curious, have any of you ever used this particular platform before? My guess is you have not. It may look familiar for those of you who are familiar with StreamYard, but I am actually kind of curious if you have used this particular platform before. If you have, good. If you haven't, no big deal. I'm just curious. Also, with that, this right here is our literally first event doing so. We thought we had everything figured out. Obviously, you just saw that we did not. But that's actually part of what I wanted to share today. There's a number of things that I wanted to share today that I wanted to get through in terms of get across to each of you, and also to say that, this is a part of everything that grows and growth process. So hopefully that makes some sense. What's that? Is this being recorded? You know what, Philip? That's a real good question. That's a real good question. It's supposed to be. I cannot guarantee right now because of everything that has happened. It is supposed to be recorded, but who knows? So we'll see. How about that? That's the best I can. That is the best I can say at this moment. All right. Anyway, but so I would go for no, it's not being recorded, as opposed to yes, absolutely, because I cannot guarantee everything that I followed, that the team showed, and just anyway, we're here now, and that's what matters. So, what we're going to talk about today. Now, many of you, and I'm actually curious. Oh man, I see they forgot. See, in part of the reason that we're using this platform. So for this year, we intend to use this platform. We like a lot of the extra features. I see that we saw that some of you have already figured out the networking piece. So we will be facilitating literally networking events as well as more workshops and whatnot. So This right here is the beginning of what we think is going to be something great for your experience and as well as the community's experience as we continue going forward. And I just realized that all of the fancy stuff in terms of polls and questions and all this other stuff that I'm asking you right now, I'm like, oh man, it's not here because of everything that happened just a second ago. Anyway, it's all good. So we'll do it the old-fashioned way, so to speak, and we'll get it done either way it goes. So what I was going to say is, how many of you have used or heard of Chat GPT? I'm assuming you have, but if you have not, right? If you have not, do me a favor, put a 1 in the chat. That way I know that you have not heard of Chat GPT, because, or you've heard of it, but you've not used it. And I'm curious as to know, especially for those of you who have not, why not, right? If you have not, why not? Because there's a reason. And we have to deal with that in and of itself, because what as the world is currently structured, what happens for us is that technology tends to outpace governance and a whole bunch of other things. However, in the email I sent this morning, the title was simply "Adapt or Die." Adapt or die, because that's exactly what happens, right? If we fail to turn, again, turns in the road aren't bad unless you fail to make the turn. Turns in the road aren't bad unless you fail to make the turn. And that's what I'm concerned about for many short-term rental operators, is that they're not going to make the turn. And by not making the turn, what ends up happening is it gets harder and harder and harder and harder and harder for you to either grow the business, stay in the business, start the business, etc. Maybe for those of you, if you were in the short-term rental space before COVID, the same type of thing happened when it came down to things like the PPP loan and what was the other one? EIDL, and there was something else. Anyway, the government programs that came out. Now, many people did not take advantage of these programs, and effectively it put them hundreds of thousands of dollars behind in some cases, not because they necessarily needed the money. It's just it's a resource that they did not take advantage of. So when you stop taking advantage of resources that are available to many people, it puts you, your business, etc., in a very tough position when it comes to trying to compete. Hopefully that makes sense. And for those of you who have not ventured into the world of Chat GPT yet, I understand. However, I'm also going to do my best to try to encourage you to, repent. Yes. And believe the good news. But ultimately, I'm going to do my best to try to encourage you to give it a try, because it is a very useful tool. Now, it's not a replacement, but it is a tool, right? And it's not so much that, and to be clear, I don't know if you guys saw, there was a video from Elon Musk maybe 3, 4, 5 days ago. It he said very simply, the capabilities of things like Chat GPT have been here for quite a while. So hear what I just said. The capabilities of things like Chat GPT have been here for quite a while. What was missing was an interface. There was no way for that resource and me, or that resource and you, that resource and we, all of us, to be able to interact with it. So it's not necessarily, so hear what I'm saying, it's not necessarily new to the world as much as it is new to us and new to our ability to manipulate, interface with it, and use it in some way, shape, or form, which is in some ways concerning, in some ways also great, because entrepreneurs like you, we're innovators. We change the landscape that's in front of us in order to adapt it to our purposes and needs. And that's exactly what I want you to think about as we're talking about Chat GPT and your short-term rental business. Now, there's something I do want to say. This tool is useful whether this is your day one, like literally day one. If you are day one in the short-term rental space, this tool is useful. If this is your day 101 or 101, it's still useful. And if this is your day one, you feel like you've been in here forever, there are uses for this tool to help at every stage of the business. And that's what I've been doing on the back, working with my team. Many of you know Robert, as well as our people on our customer experience team. We've been working with the tool, adapting its uses to help us do what we already do, right? But the name of the game is to understand things like this. It's just one word: productivity. Okay. Oftentimes when we start talking about tools like a Chat GPT or some sort of technology, we start thinking of it doing it for us. That is not what we're talking about here. We're not talking about this thing doing something for us. We're talking about doing something with us. So those are two completely different things, and I need you to hear that. We're not talking about it doing something for us. We're talking about doing something with us. And when you start thinking about it like an assistance device, then it becomes a little bit more clearer how it can be used. So, because hopefully that makes some sense. Actually, let me see. Yeah, it says, oh, that's right. I wanted to see who's actually used this before. Let me see. Leo's has, that's good. Heard it, but not used it. Yes. Using it right now. You're right. Yeah, come on. Just put it right there, man. So using it right now. Let me see. Never heard of it before. Didn't have payroll, so I didn't think I qualified. No, and okay, Sandra, you bring up a really good point. It's okay. Oh, you bring up a really, really, really good point. So Sandra's like, but I didn't think I qualified for a resource. I understand. We often disqualify ourselves in many different ways. Please hear what I'm saying. We, meaning me, you, whatever. We disqualify ourselves for many different reasons. I think there's one central one, and it ties back to this subject that I'm talking about right now. And we're going to definitely talk about it before. Lorraine says, never heard of it before. Totally understand. Using it right now. Yes, come on. Absolutely. Now, for those of you who have used it, what I would love for you to do is to type in the chat. Oh, man. Sorry. What you just saw was one of the things that we're supposed to be able to do is to bring you guys on stage real time so that we can talk, because this is one of those places where I would like to try that. I gotta figure out where that button is. But ultimately, what it comes down to is I want to know what you guys have done with it, because I want to talk to Sandra and those who feel like they don't know what it is, they didn't have some time, or didn't think they qualified, because there's a fundamental challenge that exists when you're doing things, when we function that way, and that's not good for our business, is really where I'm coming from, if that makes sense. One second. You ever lose the whole mouse on your screen? You're like, where'd it go? All right, there we go. Let me see. Okay, perfect. Now I should be able to go backstage. I'm making sure I'm trying to do everything right over here, making sure because I've got a computer. Should be able to go backstage so that I can bring you guys on stage. All right. Here's the fundamental challenge with adopting something new. Learning versus looking good. Learning versus looking good. That's the fundamental challenge. We humans tend to have an addiction to looking, we tend to have an addiction to looking good. We want to look good. I get that. Everybody, we don't like to fail. We don't like to foible, definitely not in front of people. I mean, everything that you guys have been seeing me do today, most people never want to experience, right? You don't want to. Probably my favorite part is like, if it is recorded, do you know there's a part somewhere where you just hear me go, crap. To me, that was funny because I didn't know the sound was looping in here. And what ended up happening is I was like, oh my God, they heard that. Anyway, it was pretty funny. But we can't, those two things are at exact opposites of each other. You can't learn and look good simultaneously, right? And I like learning, obviously, but I don't want to look bad, but also I'm human. And it's our ability to try to deny that, hey, we make mistakes, it doesn't go well, all that type of stuff that actually costs us money. And my concern, why I wanted to begin to talk about this, is that because this topic has the capabilities, it's one of those differentiators that begins to mean the difference of you working or not. It's kind of like when the typewriter happened. Everybody had no choice. You're going to learn to type. Same thing that happened with computers. You have no choice. You're going to learn to use a computer. Calculator. You have no choice. You've got to do. There are certain things that you're not going to be able to get around. You couldn't get around the internet. You couldn't get around not typing. You barely can get around not shopping online. All of those things are now ubiquitous staples of existence. And things like tools like ChatGPT and AI, what have you, they're going to be the same. They're going to be the same. And for you and I, the gold rush, if you will, is to how can I use these tools to make me more productive? Okay. But speaking of more productive, let me see. Erica says she used it to write a book. Is that right? Yeah, perfect. I love it. And to teach me how to use Zero for short-term rentals. Excellent point. Excellent point. You know what, Erica? I remember when you said that. Now that you say that, because hear what she said. Chat GPT. So hear what she's saying. To write a book. That's good. That's good. And then she said, it taught her how to do a thing. Because if I remember correctly, when Eric and I were talking, she was meeting with one of her financial professionals. And sometimes when meeting with a financial professional, that stuff can go over your head, or you have so little time, you want to make the most of the time that you do have and only ask the most important questions, right? And I believe that was her situation. And she was like, well, how can I do that? Because I got questions that feel like they're basic about this accounting software, Zero, that I'm using. So she came up with the idea to ask ChatGPT to teach her how to use another completely different tool. And it did. And yes, can you go searching and spelunking into help files and FAQs? Sure. But sometimes it's just easier to ask. But you can't always ask the help file or Google or FAQs. It's not the same. The experience is different. It can feel like, well, isn't that what Google is for? I promise you, it's different. And this right here taught her how to do a thing. Think about how many times you're like, gee, I want to learn to, gee, I wish I could this, gee, I wish that. All of those things. Just think about that. That was one of the more creative things. I've been asking people this question a lot that I've heard, teaching her how to do a thing that she needs to do for her business. I thought that was great because you know what now happened? Her productivity shot up through the roof because instead of leveraging her financial professional's time with basic questions, she was able to hop, skip, and jump over those, which effectively means now she makes her accounting professional more productive too. See, that more productivity that she and her accounting professional have, you know what that translates into? Confidence in your numbers. And when you have confidence in your numbers, you might be willing to risk getting more units. And I know that feels like, okay, cool, Jay, but that's not really quantifiable. But I bet you if you ask Erica, it is. Because she feels more confident because she was willing to learn, in this case, from an AI language model, which I think is great. Take advantage of the tools that are in front of you, right? Let me see. Uriah says, let me see, I can like things. That's cool. It says use it to help create. Oh, bro. He's creating contracts. Man. Okay. So you guys know I've been in the real estate space for quite a while, right? And there's lots of paperwork. And inside that paperwork, you got to read it. Well, there's two sides to that. He's saying create contracts. What about summarize contracts? Hey, can you summarize? Ask it to summarize small bits of information for you. In fact, I believe that particular tool that can do that on almost anything is called Merlin. It operates inside your browser, and basically you can highlight text on the web, copy it, and then paste that, copy it and ask for a summary. And you can do that with contracts. You can do that with a website. You can do that here's one of my favorite that does this type of thing. This one is called Glasp, right? It's so what some entrepreneurs done, they've taken ChatGPT and its functionalities, turned it into a Chrome plugin. So now, when you go to sites like YouTube, so just think about what I'm saying here. When you go to sites like YouTube and you're trying to learn something or you want to watch a video, ChatGPT will summarize the 15-minute video for you in about 30 seconds in written form. So, and then it produces this summary in such a way that if you want to hear more about that particular part of what you're looking for, it'll forward the video to that part. So think about it. How many 15-minute videos can you summarize to 30 seconds so that you can then scan and then get the information you're looking for and move on? How much more productive does that make you? See, right now we're talking about learning versus looking good. And what you're hearing and saying and seeing is that, you remember that scene in The Matrix, the first one, where Neo, he's like sitting in the chair, plug him in, and, you know, he's like, I'm going to learn Kung Fu. Plug him in. About a minute goes by, maybe less. Things download. And he just goes, I know Kung Fu, right? It's kind of like that. Because you're able to take information that would take way longer for you to assimilate, and it becomes bite-sized real quick for you to get the information you need right then, and then you can move on with the rest of your day, or in my case, probably to the next video. Does that make sense? See, it's an assistance device. And when you think of it like that, it's not so scary because it's assisting you to do what it is that you want to do. So you're right, totally love that. Love that. Wedding planning. I didn't see that. I didn't know you were in the process of getting married. Congrats. Responding to those rare, infuriating, and idiotic guests in a professional way. Yes. 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 We're going to talk about customer service in a second. Use it to write a waiver for guests, cleaning standard operating procedures. Come on. Update my bio. Yes. And listings. That's right. That's why I had it write the book specifically for what I did not understand. So see, guys, gals, people of all ages, hopefully this is making sense. You may not have used it, and that's okay. Others are, and that's my biggest point right now. What does that mean? That means things that, yes, you need to get done. Some of you are doing it faster than others, and speed matters when it comes to business. Speed matters. So your ability to get it done and get it done faster and with less energy matters because you're being more efficient, if you will, with the efforts and energies that you have. Now, I'm trying to spell. I'm looking up the spelling. Ephemeralization. There we go. Did I get it right? Yes. So the overall concept, and I've got to copy it from right here. So this is the word, and you may not have heard of it, but you're watching it happen. All right. So this is the word right here. I'm gonna write it on the board. It is EPHEMERALIZATION. Yes. See, now that's a word for you, isn't it? It's one of those words where it's like, how do I use that in a sentence, Jay? Well, it's not as hard as you may think, but it is still one of those words that's definitely there. It is ephemeralization. Ephemeralization. I'll say it again. It's ephemeralization. It's like the word of the day. Ephemeralization. What it refers to, okay, is a technical progression. A technical progression. Hear what I'm saying? Because this is what happens to all things, which is great for us in this case. A technical progression towards being able to do more. And more work with fewer resources. Okay? It's a technical progression towards being able to do more and more work with fewer resources. It's literally the proverbial do more with less. See, Erica wrote a book with less time. Uriah is able to plan a wedding with less energy, and to some degree, because hey, part of it is what happens at a wedding, right? There's some speed, if that makes sense. Erica's updated her listings, less time. So doing more and more work with less time. This matters, guys. And what it comes down to is your ability to make yourself and your team more productive. This is what I mean. More productive is also at play. So I know that ephemeralization might be a word that you're not used to. That's fine. We're going to go for another one that you also may not be used to. But I need you to, what I need for those of you who, what's the word? Are religious in nature. I want you to understand you're going to have a thought in your head regarding this next word, but I'm not talking about that. Okay. All right. Hedonics. It's also an economic word. All right. It's also an economic word. It's the thing that tends to happen, honestly, to our currency, but also how we tend to state things. You ever notice how the price of, say, Apple's laptops really kind of stays the same, but they keep being able to do more and more, right? So instead of doing more with less, they're doing more with the same, but technically what's really happening is that they're bringing the price of certain commodities and pieces inside down to the floor to where they're virtually not worth a whole lot. And the same thing happens every time the government tends to try to report things like inflation, etc. Why am I saying this? I'm saying the value of certain services is now also being drastically affected and diminished, right? You've seen things like artists getting upset that AI is copying them, so to speak, and they're getting, and then same thing when it comes to copyright, and Getty is filing lawsuits, and all of these things that used to be only certain special, unique individuals could do, now think that is happening. So more and more people can release their own versions of creativity as well. The same thing is happening right now, right? The amount of equipment that it takes to do what I am doing right now, say 8 years ago, because we were doing things like this. Some of you remember doing things like this 8 years ago, live and whatnot. Not only could I not do it by myself, because right now I'm the only one in the studio. Not only could I not do it by myself, it definitely wouldn't look as good, wouldn't be anywhere near as stable, would not be able to be using multiple computers and cameras and angles and board, just was not possible, right? So the amount of things that can happen, and it's the proverbial thing, like you've seen this with cell phones. They just come down over time, and now you get access to them. Boom, that means that same product is just being passed down, it's being valued less, and it eventually creates another economic term, right? And this is what's happening. This is what's happening right now. And this is the biggest opportunity that I think you and I have. It's called Jevons paradox. Jevons paradox. So, and this is why I wanted to talk to you about it. And we're gonna, and I'm saying all of this to get you to open up to the idea of using it. And then I'm going to show you some things that you can do with it, right? Because what Jevons paradox is all about is that the increase, so now we're talking about the increase in efficiency of a resource. Think about what I just said. The increase in efficiency of a resource will generate an increase in consumption. So we are increasing, hear what I'm saying, increasing the efficiency increases the consumption rather than a decrease. Let me say that differently. When we go to get more efficient on an individual basis, what ends up happening is collectively, we start to use that very same resource in greater quantity because we can. So because we got more efficient with creating words, we use more words. Does that make sense? Because Erica got more creative and efficient with using words. She wrote a book, but so did Uriah. So have I. I've written more articles, more. Hear what I'm saying? I've written more articles and published them on the blog than I ever have in way less time now in the last month, easily, than I have the entire time I've been online. Did you hear what I just said? I've written more articles. I've written more guest posts. I've done more written work, more of it. And now because AI is also getting into there's some video creation stuff and tools, but more of it that then I would not have endeavored to do before. I just would not endeavor to do before because it would take so much energy. But now there's an increase in the efficiency, which creates an increase in consumption. And that's exactly what we're seeing happen. But did you know that this is also the principle that is behind the STR business? Jevons paradox. It's because we, as a short-term rental operator, create an efficiency. That's what we do. We create an efficiency, an efficient, more efficient use of a real estate space, of a space, a piece of real estate. We make it more efficient. Therefore, the consumption, aka use of real estate, goes up. This is why I've said for, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 years now, every landlord, whether they like it or not, is going to have to get used to understanding the short-term rental model. This is only beginning to be proven more true by things like happened at the end of last year. I believe it was November 30th, where Airbnb partnered with 3 of the largest real estate holding companies in the United States and announced a partnership, something they've been beta testing forever, but finally announced it publicly. But you got to understand, they announced it with publicly traded companies. It wasn't something they announced with a small mom and pop. Publicly traded companies are now on record as saying, yes, our tenants can also put their units on Airbnb. That's a massive impact because, see, you as a tenant, imagine if you were a tenant and you have a choice now, everything is else the same amenities, same price, just everything's the same. One landlord says, hey, you can put it on Airbnb when you're not here. The other says, no, you can't. Most of you, many of you, are going to choose the one that gives you the optionality, even if you don't take advantage of it. And that is going to become one of those extra things that, well, people will take advantage of. Let's take this a step further. Competition for employment, for the best employees. One of the carrots and sticks are things like is compensation. Well, let me ask you this. There's only so much a position can pay in hard dollars. But wouldn't it be interesting if corporations started offering housing on a temporary basis while you're employed with us to more than just the executives? Because it's now easier for them to obtain same said housing, and operators like me, like you, we're out here to be able to facilitate such things. See, all of these things are coming, and they're coming fast, which is great. And part of our challenge as the entrepreneur is to not only, keep up, but stay ahead and do whatever we can to create, right, more with less, which is where ChatGPT comes in. See, more people can take a stab at copywriting now than before, because they can. In fact, and ladies, you'll appreciate this. So this week, I wrote some emails. I did. But I also let my wife write one. And yes, you guys liked her email more than you liked mine. And that's okay. I'm not upset at that. I've been telling her the entire time. But understand, these are things that give an added, you're willing to take a stab at something simply because, hey, maybe it won't hurt so bad, or maybe you'll just try. You can't learn and look good at the same time. And you know what? It's okay. It's all feedback, and you have to go and get it. So my main point here is, whether you participate or not, these things are happening. These things are happening. Okay. So what I want to do is that I want to give you some thoughts, ideas about what's going on right now and how we're using ChatGPT to honestly just create more money. Philip, though, you said wow. I'm not sure what you're saying wow to. So let me see. Hold on. You can share on it by clicking that when attendees ask to share their audio and video. Philip, I'm going to ask. Okay. I'm going to ask you. There's a button somewhere, supposedly. I wish I knew where it was, that you're supposed to be able to ask to. So you should be able to ask to share your audio and video. I'm going to ask you to be my guinea pig, if you would, because I want to try it. I want to see how it goes. Because I want to find out what you're saying wow to. And I'm looking at the control screen over here. And I want to see if we can actually pull this off and invite another person, how easy it is to do so, to make that happen. Okay. That's cool. Excellent. Or, okay, since I don't know if Philip is still paying attention, anybody else, somebody, I want to just try this one time before I go to the next section and start showing you. I don't see an option to chime in. Yeah, I'm looking for it too. I'm like, enable stage chat. Yeah, that's there. New announcement. It says that you're supposed to be able to, but I don't know where that is. View profile. No, it doesn't do it. Nope. Oh, that's cool. No, that doesn't do it either. I don't see an option. Okay, well, we're gonna have to go find out where that is, because I want to be able to do that. All right, so let's get back to it then. Steve, is that Steve? Steve? I don't know how to say that. I'm sorry. I really don't. Not trying to be mean. I want to know. Oh, that'll be good, because as soon as we figure that out, we'll always know how to say everybody's name. It'll be great. Sorry, I got a little excited. Oh, small things that matter. Small things. I was saying wow to landlords allowing their tenants to offer up their units as a short-term rental. Yes, exactly. Exactly. That's my point. You're not going to be so, and understand, when you're talking about Graystar, Essex, Sam Zell's companies, you're not talking about a small impact. You're talking about some of the largest buildings in your backyard right now offering this. The largest buildings with some of the best amenities are saying, hey, you can put your property on, you can put our property on Airbnb. Now, do you hear what I'm saying? How is the small mom and pop landlord going to compete against that? They're not. They can't. They have to capitulate. It will happen. It's just time. And that's what I know. It will happen. And when you start to play that out, there's so much opportunity. So much opportunity. Okay. So here's so for those of you, so I'm gonna start for those of you who are like day one. Let's do some day one stuff, right? Some day one stuff. So the general way to interface with the chat GPT or some tool like it. Now, some of you, you're more advanced, and that's good. So there's Chat GPT, which there is a free version. There's now a plus version, which I believe is $20 a month or something like that. Okay. There's also a number of other companies, probably Jasper.ai being one of the larger ones. I also use that one, but there are a number of other companies, okay, that are using Chat GPT as their base, but then putting an interface or more friendly interface around it to help make it easier for humans, you and I, to interact with it. All right. And they have various forms of what they call recipes or prompts or, in fact, here's a website that I think just came out like last week, Prompt Base. I want to say it's .com, promptbase.com. Because part of how you get benefit, the major thing that you do to get benefit out of a Chat GPT or any of these AI services is predicated on your ability to tell it what you want, right? And now, so the ability to craft your prompt, the prompt being the command you enter into the AI, it is very, very important. And prompt base, so important that promptbase.com now exists. What is that? It's a marketplace where people literally create prompts and then sell the prompts. So they give you examples of the output or types of output their prompt can create, and then sell it for like 99 cents. So now you've got their prompt, and you can use their prompt to create a very same or similar thing. Hopefully that makes sense. It's just crazy. It's like purchasing a pre-programmed, it's like purchasing a programming code for all intents and purposes, because that's how it tends to operate. So yes, clearly we're nascent. We're so neophyte at the beginning of these things. But what I want to share with you are my versions of that, but for short-term rental, so that you can understand some of the extra things that you can do, right? Hopefully that's good, that's helpful. Now, you're at the beginning of your business. What happened with leasing contracts that were previously banned? Will those send out an amendment to those existing leases? Steve, I don't know. I have no idea. But here's what I know. I don't know what they're going to do with their existing leases or how they're going to do any of that switchover, changeover. That the point is, the change is here. They're adopting it. They're not resisting it any further. And that's what's important for you and I to understand. Whatever that is whatever it is. There's going to be some change. But when we're talking about adopting this inside of our business, you guys know the first thing I always want you to do is define, who do you want to serve, right? So here's one of the things that I want you to try. When you go to Chat GPT or something similar, number one, you're looking for places to put to open up some short-term rentals. All of those places have an address. Okay. Now, those places have an address, and that address has characteristics that are related to the neighborhood. And that neighborhood is near certain amenities, or let's just call them, for the sake of this, attractions. So wouldn't you know that if you take something like this thought and say, give me the demographic, psychographic, demographic, psychographic, and if I want to, firmographic profile for a person that uses short-term rentals at this address. So understand what I'm saying here. I'm asking, all right? I'm asking AI to tell me, based on this address, what is the age, how many kids, what is the demographic of this person? What magazines do they read? What do they like? Where do they work? What is their economic viability in terms of their average income? But for a person who uses short-term rentals at this address, right? And one of the things that's great about the chat part is that when it doesn't give you all of the information you ask for, you can follow that up with things like, okay, now include, it's one of my favorites, now include, or now add, or what about there, because if there's a particular detail, okay? So understand, phase one, then you go to step two. You ask it the general question, then step two, ask it the extra information that it didn't include, and then for fun, step three, because ask it to summarize this info and tell me how to write one prompt that gives me all the information, gives me this info. So understand what I just did here. Step number one in building your short-term rental business is to define who it is that you wish to serve. What you can do is get a definition of who that is, right? So you can find out things like their favorite food, how many kids they have, their economic class, where they work, the names of the companies where they work, magazines they type that they like to read, based on all upon what? The address. You don't have to know anything else. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you could take an address, ask this is level one, then get your clarity, and then ask it, how do I get this information, but get it in one prompt? Tell me how to tell me how to ask you this information next time more efficiently. That's really what you're asking at the end. Then you save that for later. You're gonna copy, save it. Because as you build your collection of prompts, understand what you begin to do is you're starting your ability to achieve scale. So it's step one, step two, then show me how to do for all intents and purposes. Step one, step two, show me how to do. And then now you have a collection of prompts, and now you're becoming the teacher, or you're making your team just as efficient, even more so, because they're starting with your prompt as opposed to going step one, step two, right? So being able to literally pick apart who it is that you want to serve to the point to where you can go. Now, also understand, this time I started with the address. I can also, and this one blew my mind, I can do the inverse. I can start with the person. Many of you tell me all the time, who do you want to serve? You're like, I want to serve traveling medical professionals. Great. I can start with asking where in city would the traveling medical professional stay in a short-term rental? And then you know what it does? It starts popping out relevant neighborhoods. It's craziness. So it's like, okay, it stops popping out relevant neighborhoods. And now you can then take that information and ask more detail, like 1 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, what would they prefer? And it's going to give you that information. And then what's step 3? Ask it, how do I get all that information in one prompt next day? Does that make sense? So what we've done effectively, think about, remember what I said at the beginning? How much time did I just save all of you with a very simple process? You're not even having to use your mental brain power to actually come up with this information now. You're asking a language model to give you this information, and then you've got to catalog and store it somewhere so that you have it. But you can begin to build the beginnings of the neighborhood you want to go in, who it is that you wish to serve. And here's the part that I'm really saying. You can quickly customize this for whatever demographic, psychographic, firmographic that you wish to serve. If you want to get an insurance company, if you want whoever you are targeting, you can make this so freaking fast. It's not funny at all. It's just not funny. But it gives you the confidence to know that you're headed in the direction that you should be able to go. So hopefully that makes some sense. Can you ask about a certain area instead of an address? Yes. Yes. It's replacing my time to serve? Yes. It is. And it's so fast. It's so fast. I almost lost my mind the first time I don't even know how I decided to try it. I just did. And then I started verifying the information. And then I started verifying with people in places I hadn't been. Like, is this the right neighborhood? I mean, is that right? They're like, yeah. I was just like, okay, this is crazy. Because now that opens up a lot of opportunity, because you can be working off the same economic model in many different places. Okay. See, this is one of the places I know you guys get stuck. But let me show you another one. So that was for those of you who are at the beginning of the beginning. Here's another one. Okay. Oh, 1 second. I had to go get some coffee. All right. So, oh man, this is one of my favorites, by the way. One of my favorites, because this has empowered me personally to be able, honestly, being able to do what I'm about to show you, doing what I'm about to show you is part of how we are even able to do this right now today. Write me a job description for. Write me a job description for. Fill in the blank. I've done this a number of times now. And literally, other than like grammatical errors, it becomes copy paste straight into, say, Upwork, for example. And we start finding people for that particular job. Because writing these job descriptions can be painstaking and they're challenging. They're hard to do for someone who's not familiar with it, which is a lot of us. I'm not good. It's not something I would normally have to go find a person, hire them. We got to sit down for an hour or 2 or 12, and they've got to then take a couple more days, write the job description. Then we got to sit down again. Does this look right? And then we got to go back and forth and back and forth. But now, write me a job description for, verified with a couple of other team members, some Grammarly going on, posted, saved weeks off the time of getting access to more talent. Like weeks of time just cut off when it comes to finding the people that you need. Think of this when it comes to things like your direct booking website. Think of this when it comes to any person who's going to be doing something repeatedly. So your customer service, your customer experience team, your maintenance. In our case, it was our SEO guy, SEO and website. Or maybe you're trying to do something creative and new that no one's ever done, and you're looking for a combination of skills. I mean, because what I like, again, I'm going to follow the same process. It's write a job description for, and then you're going to add additional detail. It's like, because sometimes it's like include a list of relevant skills. And then it's going to add some skills to the list, relevant skills or competencies or associated software, right? If you're looking for something in a technical space. And right now we did this for our sales positions because that's what we're hiring for at the moment. Right. So we did that. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? What I'm trying to tell you is what was literally a 6-week process. We cut down to 4 days. 6 weeks, 4 days. Every time we do 6 weeks to 4 days. I don't even understand. I mean, oh man, so much faster. Being able to then adequately, efficiently ask for the assistance that's needed. Okay, it's ridiculous. What we've been able to do. Now, again. Is it that I didn't know could we have done it before? Yes. It's not that so here again, I'm saying it's not that you couldn't do it without it. It's that the time it takes you to do it is so much, or the effort and the energy is so much that you're not doing it. You're putting it off till later. You know why? Because it takes so much effort. And you have to understand, that's my point. That's how you keep falling behind. Because if I can go from 6 weeks to hire to 4 days, that's exactly what this was. 6 weeks to 4 days, complete with the job description, all that other stuff. You have to hear what I'm saying is you're going to fall behind, because I can keep hiring, firing, trying out people, getting new skill sets way faster than ever before. Now, let's talk about because some of you, you're not connecting it to revenue yet. So I'm going to give you 2 different ideas right now when it comes to using ChatGPT. And it's directly tied to revenue and reviews. Revenue and reviews, okay? For those of you, and the more units you have, oh my Lord, the more units you have, the better, okay? AC, I do not know what that symbol means at all. Is it like the symbol for efficiency or something? I have no idea. But y'all, we're doing good today that everything is working, so let's not push it, all right? So let me see. Number three. What was that? Oh, reviews and revenue and reviews. Okay, so let me write that up here. That way I don't forget. Revenue and reviews. And after this, for those of you who stuck through the beginning and stuff, I've got something special to give you for your pain and patience. Okay, for your pain and patience. All right. So revenue and reviews. I'll do the revenue one first. One of the things that I know you're not doing right now, for those of, now this is for you, the experience, you've been doing some things some more. So for those of you who are brand new, you can just know that this is coming. Here's one of the things I know you're not doing. You're not publishing a guidebook. You're just not. Because you're like, why? Why do it? Or if you're doing it, you do it, but you don't upkeep it, you don't change it, you just let it sit there. You're like, okay, whatever. You're like, maybe they use it, maybe they don't. You're not going to take the time because it has no perceived, realized effect. I understand. We didn't do ours for a long time because it's a lot of writing. Who wants to do that? So now I'm going to encourage you to do two things. Not only do the guidebook, but also I'm going to encourage you to remember the formula I keep saying and have said before, and I'm going to write one more time. You ready? Here it is. L times C times F times M equals GP. I'm going to give you a second to write that down. L times C times F times GP. Or sorry, L times C times F times M equals GP. Because your guidebook is directly tied to M. Your guidebook is directly tied to that M. Hopefully, if you don't see that yet, or if you don't know what that is, I totally understand. Because this M is all about margin. What do I mean? It's the proverbial, would you like fries with that? Would you like fries with that? And if you would like fries with that, how do they get them right now? See, what we're doing, what I'm asking you to do is to use ChatGPT to help you create a guidebook, but also let's do so smartly. Okay, let's do so smartly. You remember a little second ago, we built a profile of the person we want to serve. So we go back and we ask a very simple question. What is some of the things that type of person would like to do when they're here? Hear what I just said. What are some of the things would that person like to do when they're here? And now you're going to end up with a list of products and services, list of recommended products and services. Okay. Recommended products and services. This is what you're going to end up with. That recommended list of products and services are other businesses. And now you become an affiliate. You become an affiliate for the products and services that you recommend that AI has told you that your demographic person is most likely to take advantage of when using a short-term rental. And you put them in the guidebook that AI constructs, and you give a very convenient link to the product and service. It sounds strange, but the guidebook needs a title. And you know what? AI will tell you what it is. The guidebook needs an outline, and you can ask ChatGPT for the outline. And then once you have an outline, you can ask it to fill in the outline with the actual information that it just gave you. And ultimately, all I'm saying is a book is a list. And if you give your customer a relevant list, they will use it. In that relevant list, if it happens to have links to things that they find relevant, you get paid. They're going to buy certain services anyway. You, me, we just aren't getting paid on them because we did not make the connection. They went and looked it up themselves. Make it easier for them to find what they're going to go buy anyway and get paid for it. And do the same thing with things like your additional cleaning, your airport transfer, your extended stay, anything, all of it, because you're not communicating it. And if you don't communicate it, you give yourself no shot. And what we're finding is that by just having it and communicating it on one reservation, they purchased an additional cleaning for $200, which is, our cost is $130, so it's $70. But that $70 is automated. They buy the service automatically, and then that gets scheduled automatic. Do you hear what I'm saying to you? It's like, cool. Revenue right there. It's in the guidebook, but you've got to do the typing. I mean, you got to do the asking, right? In order to put it together. And that's what I'm talking about. It is this concept that results in 200. Think about what I'm saying. 200. Now, imagine you run, I don't know, let's call it 75, maybe 150, or even 15 reservations a month. If you're doing that, and for the sake of this conversation, let's just say that only 30% of people, 30%. So at 15, we're talking 5. At 75, we're talking 25. At 150, we're talking 50 times $200. So if you've got 5 units, would another $1,000 be good for your business? Would another, this is ridiculous, $5,000 be good for your business? Would another $10,000 be good for your business for a one-time cost of 45 minutes? Because you've got to write it out, you got to go through Grammarly, and then you got to get some links, put them in there, and then you got to put it in your automations inside things like your confirmation message. Are you kidding me? So, okay, yeah, you're right. I know you got more. Gotcha. Leo, the L in the C is leads times customers times frequency. Leads times customers times frequency. That is what that is. That is growth potential. L times C times F times M. More leads, more customers, more frequency, more margin. Come up with ways to do all of that, and you end up with a 1,280% increase inside of your business. So, but this is just one of many. And then what I'm saying is, if you take that concept and add AI to it, help it, AI, to do the things you know you need to do faster. Now we're going boom, 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 boom. You're doing these things way faster. Jesus. And it's like, okay, right? So how else? So understand that this process, and it just starts to unleash, well, what else can we do? What else can we do that would be additive, that's hard to do, not necessarily hard to do, but we're just not doing it because it's consumed so much time. Now this one, guys, if you have your customer experience team in place, this one is crazy. Okay. Remember, I said revenue. So now we're going to talk reviews. Your reviews are all about expectations. Expectations. That's what your reviews are about. Your reviews are about expectations. We set them. Your listing sets the expectation. Your listing does. What it says, how it looks, etc. So does your communication, your style, frequency, what you're communicating, what's said, not said. Here's something that you're not doing, nor would you have done before. And if you did, that's amazing. But it's the craziest thing ever. Custom itinerary. What do I mean? We know who's coming. We know how many kids. We have a kind of a good idea of their age. We know where our unit is. We know what's to do around it. So, asking ChatGPT to give you a list of 10 appropriate things to do. When I say appropriate, this is what I'm talking about. If you've got guest group A and they've got 4 adults, you get a list of things that 4 adults can do. If you've got 1 adult, 3 kids, you get a list of what 1 adult and 3 kids would do for this time frame that they're going to be there. And now you can send them in your messages a custom itinerary. I've shown you how to get to crafting a prompt, right? You ask chat, you ask for the more information, and then you ask for the summary and tell me how to do it in one prompt. And then that prompt that you create goes to your customer experience team. And you know what? Inside of your SOP now, you got one more step. Go ChatGPT, use this prompt for this demographic or for the customer, and you take this activity and you send it to them. That's it. It's the simplest thing on the planet. Doesn't necessarily, quote unquote, make you more money per se, but you know what it is? Very scalable and fast. But it makes them feel special because you took the time to put, hey, it's 4 adults who are coming in our area for the time that you are here. Here's some things that you might want to check out while you're here. Because they don't know what they don't know. Yes, they are coming to do a thing. But we've all been somewhere, did the thing, and then like, now what? All of us. And even more so if you've got kids. Think about what I'm saying. So it's like, okay, are you kidding me? You've got custom itineraries. You've got, for all intents and purposes, custom guidebooks, because remember, it's built upon the demographic, sociographic, psychographic, firmographic of the person who is coming. And now you've got the right location. You're saying the right things to the right person in the right way. They've got the right services, buying something extra. And you've got your customer experience team making it feel like, hey, we made all of this just for you. See, when you set an expectation of we did something just for you, that'll repair any review situation I can think of. We did this just for you. They don't need to know that it was generated by Jasper or ChatGPT or AI. Nobody cares. You took the time, you put in SOPs in a process that scales. Because see, it doesn't matter where your customer experience team is, and it's same repeatable steps, and they can do it and send it to them. Think about what just happens now, because now when When you send this, it fosters more communication between the guest and them. And the guest starts asking, hey, is there anything else you can do around here? What else do you know? Virtual concierge becomes the idea. And it becomes easy for you to do, but more importantly, it becomes easy for you to scale, because now you have a way to teach someone who's way in the middle of wherever how to give some relevant information to your guest in 7 minutes or less, which is typically not possible. Just not possible. It's like getting white glove service for Walmart prices. It's not possible until now. Ephemeralization matters, right? You can do more and more with less resources. And that's exactly everything that I'm showing you is how to apply those 3 concepts that we talked about at the beginning, specifically to your short-term rental business. And if you notice, I put them in order, they compound to money, right? But you guys should have expected that. At a minimum, you should have expected that. Okay. So here's the deal. I know we started way late, and I apologize for that. I also appreciate those of you who have been here through the beginning and time and all this other stuff. I do, but I don't have extra time today to go longer, so I have to end. Now, with that being said, I also know that some of you are, tell me more. I have more questions. I want to know more about everything that we're talking about right here. I agree. I know you do. Monday, we are starting a 5-day training. 5-day training. This Monday, we're starting a 5-day training. There's a general admission, and then there's also a VIP track for that. How can I put the link in it? Sorry, give me a second, guys. I've got to figure something out. All right, I can put a link somewhere to that as soon as I find it. For those of you who want, oh, I know where, well, yes. What's this? What's that? There we go. Boom, bop, boom, bop. I know, I can't believe that just came to my head either. So there it is. There we go. So here's the link, and you're the only guys that are getting it. There it is. So right there, there's that link. Copy that right now. Copy that link right now. Copy that link right now. Oh, can I pin it? It says pin. So I just pinned it. Yes, perfect. So copy that link. That link is to the 5-day training. So we're going to be doing a 5-day training. We're going to be in this environment for 5 days. We've got some more features already saved up and programmed into that. It's going to be fun for 5 days. More information like this to help you with your short-term rental business. Okay. Now, with that being said, if you go there to that link right now, you'll see general admission is $97, VIP is $297. Here's what this is what I want to do for you guys. Okay, I want to give you a coupon. Okay, cash from there, /capsule. All right. So here's what I want you to, here's what I would like you guys to do. If you go to that website I just typed in there, CashFlowDiary.com /capsule. This is how I know who qualifies, basically. I will give you a coupon when I see your video there. When you go there, it's just a video that asks you 2 questions. The first one being, what would you do with $100,000? The second one being, what are you hoping to learn from Foundations? Foundations is the name of the 5-day event next week, starting on Monday. Those will be recorded. Sorry, I'm laughing because of everything that happened earlier. Go there and you can record it on your phone. Please, just keep it simple. Does not have to be fancy. You only get, I think, 60 seconds to answer the question. It might be 2 minutes, but just answer the question. What would you do with $100,000? Number two, what are you hoping to learn from Foundations? When I see you put that, when I see those videos, because the team will give me a text message saying, hey, the videos are there, which would be great. What I'll do is I will send you a coupon. We normally do 50% off. That's what we normally do when someone submits that. What I'm going to do, okay, hear what I'm saying. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add an additional 25% on top of that to be 75% off because of all of the foibles you went through today while being patient for me to get all this stuff together. So 2 things. Copy the first link, the hopin/events foundations. Copy that link. Copy it right now. Save it. Go to cashflowdiary.com/capsule. Answer those 2 questions right from your phone. It's not that big. Shouldn't take that long. When I see that you've done that, because it'll tell me, it gives me your information and whatnot, I'll have the team send we normally just do 50% off. You guys can have 75. Now, with 75, knowing what you just went through, I would strongly encourage you to choose VIP. Think about the information I gave you, right? More importantly, we're going to be doing that for 5 days. I would strongly encourage you to choose VIP. So with that being said, hopefully that was clear because I want to do what I can do for all of the technical issues because it was a hot mess, right, at the beginning. But also tell you that what we have next week is even, it's just more. It's just more and even completely overwhelming. And even if you are just starting day 1, by the time we're done, you'll be able to put yourself in a situation you should have what you need to get started. Meaning some people who are going to start with us on Monday, and by the end of next week, they're going to have at least 1, probably 2 landlord relationships and be in the process of opening their short-term rental. That will happen. I just don't know who it's going to be. Some of you have some now, 1 or 2, and you want more. That will happen. I just don't know who it's going to be. Many of you, with information like this, you're making money now, but we'll be able to add a comma to this month's, well, actually, it's kind of late in this month, but we'll say a comma to next month's revenue. So maybe it'll be an extra $1,000, 2, 3, 5, 10. I don't really know. Depends on how many units you have, right? But what it comes down to is that's what's going to happen. And we're going to be doing that for 5 days. So we've done, oh, Jesus. Okay. Sorry. It ends soon. This event ends. Okay. Sorry. It just gave me, but like, I think I like this tool because it's going to keep us on time. This is going to be great. So it is saying that okay, so let me do this just in case. I don't want it to cut me off. Do this. But what we're going to do is I'm still going to end right now, but I'm loving this tool even so much more. But go to those 2 links. The first one is the registration. And then the second one is where you're going to answer those 2 questions on video. That's what they are. It's a video answer to 2 questions. What would you do with $100,000? And you guys are creative. It's kind of funny, some of the answers that people, and you'll be able to see other people and what they've said too, by the way, what they would do with $100,000. And then what you're hoping to learn from Foundations, because that would be very, very wonderful for us. And then when I see those videos come through, what I'm going to do, like I said, we normally just give 50% off. We're going to give an extra 25%. So it'll be a total of 75% off. I'm going to send you a coupon. Now you got to use the coupon, obviously, before it expires. But when I send you the message for that, you'll be able to know. So just make sure you do that today. That would be great. And I definitely appreciate what you guys are doing in terms of building your business, because it takes extra to do something for our friends, for our families, for ourselves, and you're showing up, and that's good. And many of you, well, you just went through some extra brain damage wondering, is this thing going to come together or not? And it did, but you still showed up. And I appreciate that. You did not let what others, because I can only assume that there are some people who showed up and said, you know what, never mind. That's all it took to knock them out was some technical difficulties, right? And you decided to show up for yourself anyway. So I'm looking forward to seeing you guys all next week. And as you can see, our event tool is going to help us stay on time, which means it's going to be great. It's going to be fun. But most importantly, I think you guys are going to really love some of the networking features that we'll be using next week, so that we can help facilitate faster growth of everyone's business, because that's really the whole point of using new tools. Doing more with less. Doing more with less is is really what it comes down to. And we're going to help you apply all of those concepts to your short-term rental business and make it grow this year, not next year, not into the future. We're talking like this week, because the impact that it's having for us is well, it's resulting in great things. And I want those same great things to happen for you guys as well. So, hey, Sam, long time no see. I see you. The two questions, Sam, are: one, it'll be, what would you do with $100,000? And the second question will be, what are you hoping to learn from Foundations next week? So again, copy those two links. Okay. The link, well, the one link is at the top. That's the registration link for all of next week. And then you're going to go to cashflowdiary.com/capsule. Cashflowdiary.com/capsule. Let me type it in here again. Cashflowdiary.com/capsule. When you go there, you're on your phone, you're just going to answer those two questions, right? When I see that, like I said, we normally get 50% off, but because you guys sat through so much technical stuff today, I'm going to give you an extra 25%. I didn't even tell my team, because I didn't think I was going to be that bad. Anyway, so we're got to go make that all. I got to go communicate everything that I'm now giving you guys to them, so that we can get it done. But I'll be looking for those videos, and we'll get that together. So hopefully you still learned something. You're looking forward to learning more, and that's what we're going to do, is help you do exactly that. So I definitely appreciate your time, all of you, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys on Monday. You guys try to have a nice Saturday today, and I'm going to go see Ant-Man, because, man, I feel like I just need, after everything this morning, I just need that's what I'm going to go do. I will talk to you guys soon, all right? Now, you know what would be funny? Oh, gone. Yes. Love this. Toasted. Yes. This software is going to be great. This is going to